Center Nick Backstrom will be stepping away from the Capitals indefinitely.
You're Locked On Capitals, your daily podcast on the Washington Capitals. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hi, and welcome in to this special edition of Locked On Capitals. I'm so glad you decided to join me today. As always, this podcast is free and available on all the major platforms. My name is Dan Holman. You can find me on Twitter. It's at DanCaps218. You can find the show on Twitter. It's at Locked On Caps. So in this special edition of Locked On Capitals, we talk about how Nicklas Backstrom has made the decision to step away from hockey indefinitely. At some point, I expect him to be placed on the injured reserve. It's interesting. It was the topic of today's podcast on my Locked On Capitals episode is the writing was on the walls for Nicklas Backstrom as he was pretty much absent from the score sheet this entire season. In the last game that he played, he was at all zeros. And for the season, I think that he only has one assist and no goals on the season. So he said that his hip was not responding the way that he had hoped. As we know, he had that hip resurfacing procedure done last year to try to fix the situation. GM Brian McClellan at the end of the season said that he was unsure of the future of Nick Backstrom on the Capitals because there was no good examples of someone coming back from this procedure favorably. Nicklas Backstrom, through it all, had a positive attitude. He said that he was aware of players that played over in Sweden that made a full recovery, even citing an example of a player that had it done on both hips. And there was a lot of hope. There was a lot of optimism for Nick Backstrom coming into this season. He seemed to be in good shape. He seemed to be moving well. And even GM Brian McClellan said that he appeared to be in a lot better position than he was last season. But it seems to me that the hip, and according to him, it was something that has been bugging him. We do know that Nicklas Backstrom is the all-time leader of assists on this team, and a true unfortunate event. It kind of brings into focus now why Connor McMichael was cycling in to get more reps at the center position. And in how, after the practice, Spencer Carberry didn't really even want to talk about Nick Backstrom. He just wanted to talk about Connor McMichael and why he was getting in reps at the center position. It's a tough position, and I think that ultimately it's a tough one for the Capitals. Just, what he means to this team. I will never forget his contributions to this team if he never plays another game of hockey. The all-time assist leader, just a real leader, a real positive guy. He is a guy that he's had to face a lot of battles, whether it's injuries or whatever the case is. It's a tough thing as a Capitals fan to see happen. We will never forget his many contributions in the 2018 season. He was an integral part of the Capitals winning the Stanley Cup and also assisting on more Alex Ovechkin goals than anyone else. He is not leaving the team altogether. He will still take part in off-ice activities and serve as a leader for the team. But just kind of a sad moment, I'm going to be honest with you, about Nicklas Backstrom, considering what he means to this team. Again, a leader and just a tough thing, all things considered. But again, it's one of the things, it's an awkward position for the Capitals to be in. They were paying Nicklas Backstrom a substantial amount of money to be a third-line center, and you saw his production slip. And there's other players on the team that have risen up. Dylan Strome has locked it down on that top-line center position. That's a positive thing. Kuznetsov has shown some improvement. So this is going to be Connor McMichael's time to shine. And, it's a tough thing for me to say, but I'm going to go ahead and say it, is that one man's loss is another man's gain. And this is ultimately Connor McMichael's time to shine, to make the most of his opportunity to cement himself as that center that we all know that he can be. Let's face it, Connor McMichael was key in the Hershey Bears winning the Calder Cup last season. And this is not the same Connor McMichael that we've seen from years before, where he came up and he showed flashes of greatness and then was sent down. Just mature beyond his years. Last season when he got sent down to Hershey, he didn't sulk, he didn't moan, he made the most of his opportunities and just put the work in and helped that Calder Cup or that Hershey Bears team win a Calder Cup, and just huge. And then after the Bears won that Calder Cup this season, he had a lot of swagger and a lot of confidence and a changed player, I guess I got to say. I haven't seen this kind of Connor McMichael before. So just to kind of wrap up this short episode here, what we know right now is Nicholas Backstrom has stepped away from hockey indefinitely. A sad moment for Capitals fans. I am not happy about this at all. I love Nicholas Backstrom and what he's done for this team. This team will forever be in his debt for his many contributions on the ice, off the ice. Just a positive guy and a guy that always put in the work. I hope we can see him come back at some point. I don't know how that hip is going to respond, but what he has said in his own words is it's not responding the way that he had hoped that it would. But ultimately, I wish nothing but the best for Nicholas Backstrom. Just a great guy, a great hockey player, and I have nothing but good things to say about the totality of his career on this team. And again, an opportunity for Connor McMichael to shine, to show that he is that center that the Capitals have been looking for. All right, once again, I want to thank you for joining me on this last minute kind of edition of Locked On Capitals. As the news breaks, I got you guys covered. Keep it locked to Locked On Capitals all day.